morning, grade 7s. Welcome to this history class. As you know that in history, we are talking about stories from the past. Today, we are going to be talking about the story of the Kingdom of Mali in the 16th century. This Kingdom of Mali in the 16th century was a huge kingdom which was made that big because of the trade that was going on. And this was the trade across the Sahara Desert. Now, before we carry on with our lesson, can we look at the new words that we are going to have in our lesson of today? We start talking about the word kingdom. Kingdom refers to a land or lands that are ruled by a king. For us to have a kingdom, there must be a king. Now, I'm sure you are used to the word United Kingdom. Now, when we talk about the United Kingdom, it was the British Kingdom. This British Kingdom consists of Scotland, consists of England, consists of Ireland. So it is formed by a number of countries. Now, the kingdom that we are talking about today is the Kingdom of Mali. It was smaller than the British Kingdom or the United Kingdom as we commonly refer to it. It was only consisting of one country, which was Mali. This Kingdom of Mali in the 16th century was a very huge kingdom. The other word that we are going to refer to today that I think you will need it to be explained will be the word trade. Trade is buying and selling. When one country buys from the other country and the other country is also buying something from this country. For example, if we have South Africa buying tobacco from Zimbabwe and Zimbabwe buying mealies from South Africa, then we say there is a trade between the two countries. The next word that we are going to deal with is the camel caravan. Camel caravan is where we have a large group of camels traveling together. And then our next word is going to be a century. When we talk about a century, we are referring to a period of 100 years. Now, this is how we talk about centuries. When we talk about the 16th century, we are referring to the years 1510, 1502, 1520, 1527. When we talk about the 20th century, we are referring to 1960, 1975, 1902, on and on like that. And then our next word is going to be goods. The goods are all the commodities or the items that are going to be bought and be sold in the trade that we are talking about. Now, the word desert. Desert is an area that we find. There are different deserts around the world. But the desert that we are going to be talking about is the Sahara Desert. In a desert, we do not have a lot of rain. There is a lot of sand. The place is very dry. Trees do not grow in that area, and that is why we call it a desert. Now, the area in Africa that is called the Sahara Desert is the area that does not have trees, that seldom gets rain, that does not have water, and it has a lot of sand dunes. That is a desert. And then our next word is going to be exports. Exports are the goods that we are in South Africa. When we sell goods to other countries, we call them exports. So all the goods that we send to other countries are called exports. And all the goods that are brought from other countries into South Africa, we call them imports. So imports means the goods that are brought from other countries into our country. And then the last word that I think it's important for you to know today is nuggets. Now, in Mali, there were gold mines. And in the gold mines, there are sometimes the golds that are found in small pieces. So those small pieces of gold, we call them the nuggets of gold. The kingdom of Mali was a large kingdom which was ruled by the king Mansa Musa. Now here we have a map of Mali that shows you how Mali or the trade route looked like at that time. It shows you the position of Mali in the African continent. It also shows you the route that of the different people that came into Mali to come and do trade. And next to this picture of Mali, we also have a picture of the camel. We will talk about the camel later. Now, our next map is to show you the position of Mali today. Mali, as you can see on the map of today, it has neighbors like Senegal, the Gambia, Gabon, Togo, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Niger, Nigeria, on and on like that. It is a country that is found in the northwestern part of Africa. Now, Mansa Musa made Mali the great kingdom because he had a special way of ruling Mali. He had a system where he was using governors to rule the different part of his kingdom. And he was intelligent because he made Mali the center of trade. Now, every person who came to do business with Mali was forced to pay tax, which means the people who came to sell and the people who came to buy, they paid tax to the Mali government for what they were buying or for what they were selling. And in this way, the Mali kingdom made a lot of money. Gold was also traded, which means Mali was very rich in gold. So the gold mines of Mali could sell gold to all these people who came to buy and to sell the other stuff. Now, the people did not only come to Mali to come and buy. These people came from North Africa, they came from the Middle East, and they came from the other parts of Africa as well. And they brought the goods like sword, iron, copper, cloth, silk. They brought horses, they brought slaves, and they brought ivory. So all these were the goods that were bought and sold at Mali. So Mali could sell to them the salt which was mined in the Sahara Desert and the gold that was mined in Mali. Now, you might ask me, how did these people travel to Mali? These people traveled to Mali by means of camels. Now, the camels were traveling in what I have already explained as the camel caravans. The camel caravans, like I said, was a large group of camels that were traveling together. Now your question might be, why did they need to travel in such large groups? The desert is a very cruel place. In a desert, there are creatures, small creatures that can bite you, and their one bite can cause your death. In the desert at that time, there were robbers. People could rob them and take away all these goods that they intended to go and sell in Mali. So the other thing is, in the desert, there are no roads. Because there are no roads, today you travel like this, tomorrow that very road that you were traveling is covered by sand dunes. Because in the desert, there is always wind that is blowing the sand to and fro. So there are not constructed roads. Even if you can travel on that every day the wind always gets the way to close that road. So it is very, very easy to get lost in the desert. So that is why they had to travel in groups, because they were fearing being attacked, because they were fearing being lost, because they could be bitten by the creatures in the desert and never survive, or you could also be killed by thirst in the desert. That is why the camel was a very important animal for them. Now let us look at the camel as an important animal. Now the camels, we normally find them in the deserts. Whoever was responsible for creation was very intelligent. He created the camel so that it can be used in the desert. Now in the desert there is no water. So the camel does not need to drink water every now and then. Its body works in such a way that it drinks water, and this water is stored in its body and it is kept there for a very, very long time. Now, if you look at the foot of the camel, you will realize that it has two large hooves. Now, these hooves, they have some sort of a skin in the middle. So this skin allows the camel that when it tramples on the sand, it can stand firm. So its hooves, that is its feet. We don't call them feet, we call them hooves. Its hooves allows it to be able to stand firm in the desert without falling. So it can walk without any hassle in the desert. And the other thing is, I've already mentioned that there are always winds that are blowing in the desert. Now, if you look at the eyelashes of the camel, they are doubled so that they can prevent the sand from entering their eyes. So the camel, we can say it is always wearing its sunglasses. It has permanent sunglasses. So the camel can also travel long distances without needing anything to eat. As much as they do not want water very often, they also do not want food very often. And their legs are very long, and they allow them to travel long distances. And you have also seen on the picture of the camel that it has some sort of a hump on its back. That hump is where the water is kept, and a camel is strong. It's a huge animal that can carry a lot of stuff. So that is why the camel was a suitable animal to be used to travel in the desert. Let us look at what we have learned today. Today we have learned about this trade that was taking place in Mali. We have learned about the animal that was used as a means of transport in the desert, and we have also learned that all these goods that were moving from place to place were carried on a camel. So now I am going to ask you to write this assessment for me. We are going to do this activity, and in this activity I am going to ask you a few questions, and you are going to have to write in your own books. The first question of the activity is, what are the dangers that are faced by people traveling in the desert? The other question will be, draw a table where you indicate the goods that were bought from Mali and those that were taken to Mali. And write a paragraph where you explain why a camel is a suitable mode of transport in the desert. Now, before we finish our lesson, I would like you to take your books and write in the glossary all the difficult words or all the new words that we have done today.